Hello and welcome back to another Niche Ball video. Today I'm joined with Joe and Casey as per usual. We're going to be ranking the top 20 most expensive signings of all time based on performance in comparison to price tag. So Joe, who's the 20th player?
So we've got Anthony, who went from Ajax to Manchester United for 85 million. Was it 2 years ago? So
worst signing of all time, I think, in my opinion.
Probably. I think
no, it's not even a joke. I'm not even laughing. I'm not even like this. That is not an exaggeration. I think it actually is the worst signing of
I think
all
he has
time.
to have his own tier at this point.
Is.
He's got to have his own tier. Like this guy.
No, make one, Joe. Go out of your way and please make one.
Look, watch this. Right, look, this man.
Anthony.
We'll make that D. This is Anthony right here. He is so bad. He's so bad. It's 85 million for no.
There's nothing. We don't even have to go into it.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to the next one. There's nothing. That's it. He's just bad. He's got his own tier, and we'll move on.
Of course. So
isn't he a woman beater?
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. Well, we don't need to talk about him anyway. A man who maybe on the other end of the spectrum, Gareth Bale went from Tottenham to Real Madrid for 85.3 million, only £300,000 more in 2013.
Yeah. He's won 5 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, he's 2 goals in that Champions League final against Liverpool. But out of favour with Zidane. Very good though, he has. So
yeah.
I mean, literally formed one of the greatest trios in football ever.
Hey, man.
I think that is Bale was like the standard for that price tag. I can't believe we went from Anthony to Bale. That is crazy.
Greatest British player of all time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
he's up there. He definitely is. Also, like in terms of like exports, like actually leaving England to go do stuff, he's the best, isn't he? If we're being honest.
Yeah.
There's no one else. There's no one else really. Well, I guess we'll move on because as easy as Anthony was, that was even easier. So now, bit of a dodgy one. We've got Neymar, PSG to Al Hilal, £86 million, 2023.
Yes. I mean, he's been injured.
Yeah. Because realistically, you're not looking for performances. You're just looking for commercial value, aren't you?
He's a weird transfer. He's a weird transfer because it's like Anthony and Bale, right? They're brought on that because they think for the league they're in and the way they're competing and for they, especially United, for the player they thought they were buying into. Whereas Neymar kind of just, it's weird because like Al Hilal weren't buying Neymar to be like, okay, we're going to we're going to be the best team in the world. They just brought him in to get more people into their stadiums. That's the only reason. So it's really weird to judge it.
Well, like,
they can never be an S.
Yeah,
can't. It's like I don't know, because but could you say he could be a success in the terms of he could actually bring the players into the stadiums or like the fans and stuff? Because like, he did. Like, if we're being honest, but it's just like the ACL. Like, okay, if he'd actually like I don't know, done crazy numbers, which like isn't like if he did crazy numbers, he's not getting an S. But if he did crazy numbers and also became like the whole front like bigger than Ronaldo in that league, which it would be very hard to do. But like then he'd be higher. But there's not much you can say, is there really? Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Right, next one, who's right now a bit controversial. Harry Kane from Tottenham to Bayern last year for 86.4 million.
I'd say A.
I'd say A. I think he's done very well. Not quite enough for an S because he's not been there long enough to really. Yeah. But I think if he keeps performing how he is and he eventually wins a title with Bayern Munich, then he probably will move to an S eventually.
Yeah, I think it's a very unfortunate timing because a lot of people like to laugh at Kane on like Twitter and stuff, but I actually don't think the reason Bayern are playing bad. It's not because of Kane. I think it's because of the team and Tuchel. Like Kane has come into this team and done his job. Like he's been worth his money.
Yeah,
long story short.
Definitely. And also, you think about you buy him for goals. Isn't he on like already like 40 goal contributions or something like that? Like something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he hit that like ages ago as well.
So, yeah, so like,
goals and signed like the first 20 games or something as well.
Also, he can still win the Champions League and he can still win the Bundesliga. So this is like Lewis said. He hasn't even finished his first season, but from what you've seen so far, it's an A.
Yeah, he's an A. Yeah. And then we've got Cristiano Ronaldo from Real Madrid to Juventus in 2018 for £88 million.
An A.
And B.
A B.
B. Actually, no, I'd say B because they brought him in to win the Champions League and they still didn't, which is crazy.
True.
But he was very, very good in the league.
He was excellent for somebody who is like in the argument as the best player of all time. As much as he was very good, if he really was the best player of all time, he would have had Champions League success with the team he had around him. Don't forget that overhead kick goal he scored was unbelievable. But he should really be doing better than what he did.
Yeah, 33 years old as well when he went in it. So like, you're already 33 years old. You're on 88 million pounds. I know it's Ronaldo. Like, obviously he showed his longevity, but like, it's a bit much. And well, did he win a league title every year when he was there, or was it?
I think he did.
It was the season after he left at AC Milan. Inter Milan. Sorry.
And didn't he score that flipping like really high header or something? I remember that. That's like one of my like only memories of him being at Juventus. So
he was in the FIFA 19 cover. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. He made the comeback
FIFA 18.
though. Was it a comeback against Atletico? What in the Champions League? When was that? Was that quarters or was that around a 16? I can't even remember. But like,
I think it was quarters.
Like,
we'll give him that.
Yeah. B, as we've said before, B is not a bad signing. Like, B's like didn't really live up to the price tag, but you just is what it is, isn't it? Like,
that's because we've given Anthony a tier of his own. So remove that Anthony.
No, the Anthony tier staying.
The Anthony
tier
is
because
where I'm just imagining everything without the Anthony tier, and I'm still looking at it. He's still a decent signing.
Joe, I think you should make just another tier just to gap in it a little bit more, because there's no way some players on this list are going to be even like a tier above. Like there's 2 tiers. That's how bad he is.
Nah, he's awful. Well, moving on to someone who maybe arguably has been on par with how bad Anthony has been. Maybe not recent, but when he first went, is Mykhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar to Chelsea, 88.5 million last year.
Yeah, Mudryk.
I'd give him a D.
I'm giving him a D. Other than Anthony, he has moments in games where he looks like he could be a game changer and could be a good footballer. But I don't know. The half he had against Liverpool on his debut looked excellent. Since then, enough. Really.
Yeah, I mean, there's a player in there, isn't there? But like, for the money, and you'd expect a lot more already. Like, I get it. You'd give him like the first 6 months, wouldn't you, to get used to the league? But now you'd expect him to kick on, and he just hasn't really. So moving on, we've got an ex-Chelsea player. He went from Chelsea to Real Madrid, which is Eden Hazard. He went for 89 million back in 2019.
It's a D. There's no way he's not a D.
Was so bad. Oh my god!
Like, there's not even much you can really say on it other than the fact that he was just injured all the time, because quite literally
and got fat.
Yeah, I had it 33. So that's just.
It's a bit of a shame. Won Champions League though. Then we've got Paul Pogba from Juventus to Man U, 89 million back in 2016.
It's a very weird signing.
It is,
because there's so many. He at times he was like the best midfielder in the world, but then he's now been banned for 4 years for doping. So
we technically can't include the doping because that's from his signing.
Oh no, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like what I was saying, it's like he was the best player in the world, but now like he's had such a big fall off since.
Yeah.
So, and he was very shit for United for a bit.
Yeah. So I think C.
Yeah. Because wasn't the whole time with like United was like just trying to like everyone on Twitter. All I remember whenever he played was, what's the best position for Pogba? How do we unlock Pogba? Who do we play with Pogba to unlock him? Where do we play? And it just felt like they never understood it. So like I don't know. I mean,
it was that season where he played that double pivot with Mourinho. He was fucking sexy as shit, man. Like he used to be like play like De Bruyne-esque passes from like his own half. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just don't understand how somebody could be such a world-class midfielder for the national team and just be so inconsistent for their club. Like it made no.
It's because he didn't give a shit about United, mate.
He wasn't near as bad as like Mudryk and that, but he's certainly nowhere near as good as Ronaldo was to be in that B.
Yeah.
So
I also remember how hyped it was when he signed, like with the flipping. This was a Stormzy video.
He broke the British. Yeah, he
That
broke like the
was
British
the-
record as well.
But 90 million for on his day player? No way. Anyway, next we've got Lukaku from Inter Milan to Chelsea, 97.5 million back in 2021. Hey man.
D.
I mean,
Honestly,
6 months.
I'm not even gonna lie. I think we give him his own tier as well.
He could be his own tier.
Because the thing is, right, Anthony has been horrible, but Lukaku just finessed Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like that, like he finessed that club so fucking hard for 100 million. That is crazy.
That's the thing.
But-
Lukaku is like, honestly. Oh.
But my argument is that whilst he didn't define the price tag one bit, he wasn't doing awfully at Chelsea. Like, he wasn't doing amazing, but he wasn't exactly doing badly. The only reason it all went downhill is because the man literally did a live interview saying that he was back to Milan.
And then went to Milan, and the shirt number he chose was 99 just to take the piss.
I
think we give Lukaku his own tier as well. I think it's deserved because, like I said, like Lewis said, right, his time at the club, he did all right. But it's just the way he finessed Chelsea so hard. You have to give him his own tier for that.
And also, like, imagine if Anthony went back on loan to Ajax next year. Like, that's how I see Lukaku. How can you go for 100 million and be on loan? Not even be bought by Inter.
Yeah,
He went on loan
to be on loan
back there.
Thing is, he went to Inter and was fantastic to them. He was really good.
Yeah, I can't lie. I think he's going to join Anthony in the tier. We got the...
No, make his own tier. Because they're two
these-
different reasons of shitness.
No, they're the
Yes.
same. Anthony / Lukaku.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
Right. Next, we've got Jack Grealish, Aston Villa to Man City, 100 million, 2021. Hey.
I think it's another C, probably. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I'd say B. Mate,
B?
the end of last season, he was the reason why they were so good in the Premier League. He was like top 3 wingers in the league. He's just been
Yeah.
inconsistent. That's his problem. Like he struggled his first season because he couldn't really figure out
Actually.
the City system. Last season he was very, very, very good, and this season he's just been injured.
I
So-
like it.
Like
Wow.
I think it's fair. B. He won a treble in his
Yeah.
second season and was like partially the reason why they won a treble. So
That's the thing. We talked about Ronaldo being bought to win the Champions League. Maybe not Grealish wasn't bought directly to win the Champions League, but he
really did help.
he really did help do it. So let's be honest. I think for his achievements and his performances were good at the end of the last. Like now,
Yeah, that
recency
Arsenal
bias, maybe not, but yeah, I'd say B.
Yeah.
If that's your reasoning, then I suppose you're right if we're basing it off the Ronaldo and Champions League signing. But in my opinion, I think he's still being outclassed by the players around him. And yeah, this season he's been poor. But if you boys want to put him in B, then I will not complain at that.
Yeah, well,
So,
yeah, we have that again, I guess. Well, we got Declan Rice next as we're halfway through. He's the 10th most expensive signing, and he went from West Ham to Arsenal for 105 million last year.
I wouldn't know if I say
Already.
he was S. I think he's A.
Yeah,
I think the reason like S is like Bale came to Madrid and was like the reason why they were so dominant for so long. Whereas like Declan Rice has been their best player, don't get me wrong, and he's made Arsenal a lot better, but we don't know how much better Arsenal we don't know if he's the player that's going to bring them silverware, you know?
well, the thing is, if Declan Rice does what he's doing for another 2-3 years, then he would be an S. But like,
Yeah. It's unfair on him, to be fair.
the impact that Bale and Rice have had on the teams have been fairly similar. But because Bale consistently did it for so long, that's why he's just that level above. So yeah, I think it is fairly. Yeah, I think it's.
if we're keeping consistency as well, I think Kane and Rice have both sort of impacted as much as their price tag would assume you would impact.
Yeah.
If you're like,
Yep.
and obviously longevity will prove whether or not he's worth the price, but we'll have to wait and see, and we can't judge him off that yet. And from what we've seen so far, if he carries on, it'll be S in a couple of years, if we're being honest. So I guess that's it.
God.
Yeah. Next, we've got Griezmann, who moved from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona for 107 million in 2019.
See.
Yeah.
You know what?
Mm.
Whilst it wasn't unbelievable, you see his numbers, it still wasn't bad. I think his worst season at Barcelona, like his worst full season, he spent 2 full seasons there and then 1 half season. His worst full season, he scored 17 goals. That's not awful.
That's why I say C.
Yeah.
He didn't really he didn't represent his price tag, but he wasn't any worse than the players that we put down below, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just the fact that he left Atletico Madrid to go to Barcelona, and then Atletico won the league when he left, and then he left Barca, and Barca won the league when he left as well. That's just the funny thing about him. It's the sort of same thing with Lukaku. Obviously, it's not the exact same because as you guys said, his performances weren't awful, but it's the fact how
Also, he didn't mug off Atletico.
Yeah, but how can you go for that much money and then be back at your club you were before? I don't know. I do agree with C though because he wasn't that bad. Not Mudryk or Hazard, but he was not Hazard bad. So yeah.
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 Well, moving on, we've got Enzo Fernandez, who went from Benfica to Chelsea for 107 million last year. Hey man,
Let's see again.
I think he's honestly awful.
He's awful.
It's a D because
I think he's D.
Him and Caicedo, and I'm assuming Caicedo's still to come on this list. How you can spend 220 million on two midfielders, and your best midfielder be Conor Gallagher, who you are then. That is my reasoning for a D.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I agree with that actually.
Yeah, I don't know why clubs still believe in World Cup hype, and I don't know about other people, but for me, when I was watching the Argentina team, he was not the guy who I was going. He will be an £100 million signing.
And Alvarez and Messi.
Yeah. I was not
the players that were wow.
He won. What was it? Was it the young? Is it called Golden Boy? I don't know what it's called at the World Cup. But
yeah, the Golden Boy.
Yeah, and I was looking. I was like, yeah. I mean, he had some good performances, I guess. But was he really the standout £100 million player? No. And Benfica fleeced him.
The only reason he got that was other than Alvarez, him and Alvarez were realistically the only two young-ish players in that World Cup winning squad. You know, the Argentina team are very.
McAllister's young.
McAllister's 25, 26, so I don't think that quite qualifies as a.
As the young player of the tournament.
My bad.
Maybe Mbappe, but Mbappe was 24 at the time, so I think he won it purely as a young player in a World Cup winning squad.
Yeah. And his performances haven't even because you've got that sort of how do I explain it? Obviously he wasn't that standout, got the move, and then you'd be like, okay, he's got the move. Can he prove himself? And oh my gosh, wasn't there some stat about how he's how little games he's won for Chelsea after he left a year?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is to make a lot of Chelsea fans mad, but he's basically just an Argentinian Jordan Henderson. I don't even. He gets the.
That is a good comparison.
He offers nothing. I'm sorry, I just don't see how he could be any higher than D.
I know. By the way, I know where the next one's going.
Yeah, Speaking of the next
Looking
one,
at the list,
João Felix, Benfica to Atletico Madrid, 112.9 million. He moved there in 2019.
Mate, he's getting more D than a prime Lana Rhodes. I'm telling you that right now. All right, so before they get him, right, he scores 20 goals for an 18-year-old for Benfica. That's fucking insane. Ever since then, he's yet to get over 11, and he was the most. He's what is he? Top 7 most. He's the 7th most signing ever in football history, and he's yet to have a better season for that. He's the meatiest player I've ever seen, and he's going D.
Honestly, the only reason I believe that we shouldn't put him in the same tier as Antony and Lukaku is purely because he had an all-right spell at Chelsea, and he has one game every 6 months where he looks like he's going to define his price tag. That is literally it. In the 4 years now it's been since he's moved, since that big money signing to Allegro, I think he's probably had four world-class appearances. So that's one appearance every year, and that's not enough to define a price tag, but it's also not bad. Same tier as Antony Lukaku.
And also, this might sound stupid, but when they bought him, obviously I don't really think there's many players that are worth 100 million, but when they bought him for the talent they were buying, I wasn't going crazy. I wasn't that was so much money, because obviously it's still a lot of money, but it's not like with Enzo where I was going, why, who defined that price tag? I could understand why Benfica were saying how much money for João Felix because he was like very good, but obviously he hasn't lived up to it. But that's why I wouldn't put him in the Anthony Lukaku because like people like Mudryk and Enzo, you're thinking like why that much money? But he kind of made sense at the time, not for like 110, but you could see Atletico might get like the value for money, but they ended up not. And we'll see. Is he on loan at Barcelona, or is he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so like he's not even been bought. So
When Barcelona scored the winner against Atletico Madrid and proceeded to celebrate.
Oh,
that just screamed that I'm a shit. So I think.
Well then, we'll move on to Jude Bellingham then. Number 6 most expensive signing. Dortmund to Real Madrid, 114 million last year. I'll be honest. I'm looking at S.
No, because my reasoning against S is because if you're doing that, then you've got to put Harry Kane in S as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Thing is, right, maybe by the end of this season he's S, but again, we can't tell. We don't know if he's going to win them the Champions League. We don't know if they're going to win the Liga, so we can't tell. Like, A is fair. Like, I don't see S. Yeah, he like thing is what me and Lewis are saying. We can very much see him being S by the end of the season or in a year, but it's just like the season hasn't finished yet. For all we know, he could literally not. He could lose a leg and be the worst player of all time in the next 10 games.
I think with Bale, one thing we all agreed on, the reason Bale was S was because of consistency. And Bale is consistently good this season, but to really get into that S tier, you've got to be consistently good over at least 3 seasons, in my opinion. So, yeah, for me, it's an A. But with more than likely going to move into an S soon enough.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, like when you watch him, like Declan Rice, you do watch him and go, "That is a £100 million player." So as we said before, though, if we're keeping it consistent, as we said the same with Harry Kane and Declan, I guess we do have to put him in A because the reasoning was like Bale won 5 Champions Leagues and these lot have spent half a season at the club. So I'll concede on that one. Next, the most expensive Premier League signing, we've got Moises Caicedo from Brighton to Chelsea, 115 million last year. Lads, talk to me.
I think he could go in the Anthony Lukaku tier. I think you have to make it Anthony Lukaku Caicedo now.
I think that's what it's gonna have to. You know what?
Anthony Lukaku and Caicedo tier.
These lot are bums. That is.
Oh yeah, and then put in brackets bums. Just to really emphasise.
It is. I don't know who. Like Brighton have surely employed somebody to just suck off other clubs and pleasure them, so that they'll pay other players.
What were you thinking? This is the thing. Honestly, I don't know. Lewis,
Caicedo's good at Brighton, but in my opinion, he's never been more than a £60 million footballer. Like, what Sandro Tonali, who has made like 5 appearances for Newcastle this season, or more, but like 10 appearances for Newcastle this season. Caicedo makes Tonali look like he'd be in the S tier if he was in this list.
You know what it is, right? I still, even then, I don't think he was worth that. I think he was worth like a 40 mil. I don't think I never really saw like him being like instant. I think Basuma was better at Brighton than he was, and we got Basuma for 25 million.
That's the thing. I like the football tacticos on Twitter and all that going, "Oh my god, he's so good. He can play in every position. He's so versatile. He's amazing on the half turn in the half spaces." When I watch him, because when I watch football, I don't know about you two. You probably watch it the same way as I do. Like you're not looking for the tactical insight as much as these guys are on Twitter. So when I watch him, I was never sitting there going, "Man, this guy's the best player on the pitch. This guy's..." Obviously, there's a couple performances where I went, yeah, he's proper good. But like, I wasn't sitting there week in, week out going, "Hey, that's a £115 million signing right there." No way, not even close. I'm telling you,
and that's why he deserves his own tier.
The bum.
Yeah. He's in the bum tier.
I can't lie.
Yeah.
Potentially joining him, we've got Ousmane Dembele from Dortmund.
I don't think. I think he's a D. Because the thing is, right.
No,
you know what I was saying about Felix earlier? He had his best ever season prior to going to Barcelona, and that was still to this day it's his best ever season. But I'm looking at the stats right here. I know stats don't mean everything. When he went, right, his first season wasn't great. 4 goals, 7 assists. But then season after that, 14 goals, 8 assists. But the next game he played 9 games. So don't count that season.
Guys.
And then the season after he got he's very on and off. So I don't think he's not a bum. He's
Guys,
just injured 24/7 and was very
135
good.
million.
I'm going to argue.
That's why he's D, mate.
I'm going to argue a step extra. Yes, I agree he's D, but I don't think he's D/bum tier. I think he's like D on the brink of. Okay, I realise what that sounds like, but like I genuinely believe that he's D on the brink of C. And when man wasn't in hospital,
I agree.
like when that man wasn't in hospital and he was performing consistently, he looked like one of the best wingers in the world. And I know that might, but when you consider pure performances alone, when he had a string of games where he didn't get injured, like he looked like that £135 million player. But unfortunately, injuries can't put him any higher than D, possibly C. So I think.
I just think, obviously, majority vote, he's in D, but I just think 135 million, that is so much money for a player that sits there just getting treatment for the whole time. He's best mates with a physio for 135 million. I just think it's ridiculous. But anyway, we'll move on. We're moving to the top 3 now, and I think he actually does have a case for being in the bums tier, which is Felipe Coutinho, so good at Liverpool, then moved to Barcelona for 142 million, and then ended up going on loan to Bayern Munich and knocking out them from the Champions League and then winning it with Bayern
Yet
Munich.
again,
So
I think bums, but his first
season as well.
His first season at Barcelona quite good. The issue is with Coutinho is that he did well on every club he went out on loan to, other than Barcelona.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
I think. But his first season at Barcelona, he wasn't a world beater, but it was still quite decent. So I think that just saves him from being in the.
By the way, this is a bit of a different conversation, but I'm not going to explain myself for too long. Coutinho is on forward watch as well. The guy is 31, playing in Dubai.
He's a bum. He's a bum. He's a bum.
He is a bum. People, I'm not calling him a Premier League legend. There is no way. The guy is 31, and he's. And he's chilling out in Qatar. He's in Qatar right now, chilling at 31.
For the sake of the video, as much as if we could include that as a factor, then yes, I would agree would be in a bum, in the bum tier. But you cannot that isn't the signing from Barcelona to.
Yeah, Barcelona, no, I agree. It's D, but
can't put him any lower because that's not what we're. Yeah, so I think D's fair.
I don't get how you can sign a guy for 142 million and then you loan him out in 2 seasons and he knocks you out of the Champions League and then goes on to win it. I can't fathom that ever happening. But we'll move on as we've got the man in second, which is Kylian Mbappe from Monaco to PSG, 163 million. I'm looking at S, I think.
S. I'm saying S as well.
Enough said. Probably the best young player in the world at the moment. Arguably even the best player.
Young. He's 25, mate. You flamed me earlier for saying McAllister's young. He's 25.
But I meant at the time of signing probably the best young player in the world. And yeah, now he probably, probably the best World Cup final performance of all time. And there's somehow this. So I think I know we aren't ranking based on it off World Cup performances because it's the club transfer, but he's recently for 4 years for PSG now.
Yeah. Also, shall I read you his stats while he's been at PSG? Right. His first season, he got 21 goals, 13 assists. The season after, he got 39 goals, 13 assists. Yeah. The season after that, he got 30 goals, 14 assists. The season after that, he got 42 goals and 11 assists. And the season after that, he got 39 goals, 21 assists. The season after that, he got 41 goals, 9 assists. And this season, he's got 32 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah, I mean, that's
he's been Mr. Consistent.
Numbers, he's just, They did fail in the Champions League, though. That's the only thing that sort of held them back a bit. But they got close, and he's their all-time top goal scorer, I'm pretty sure. He's obviously they lost out in the league. What was it? Was it to Lille 1 year?
Lille, yeah.
But and the only thing, and that's the thing, the 2 things that sort of might hold him back, in my opinion, I'm still saying S, is firstly the fact that they didn't win the Champions League, and secondly the fact they're letting him go on a free. If they'd sold him off for maybe the same price even that they bought him for, then he's definitely S. But he still is for me. But those 2 things do sort of, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like 163 million, he gives you all of those goals, but then he goes on a free. I don't know. But yeah, he's numbers don't lie, do they? Well, we've only got one man left, and Neymar, Barcelona to PSG, 198 million.
Yeah, for the exact same reason as Ronaldo, I think it's B. I would say he's been excellent. Like, and he probably would be good enough to be A, but for the exact same as Ronaldo's reason, and he was brought in to win a Champions League. You know, he's arguably, and I would still say Ronaldinho, but he's arguably the best Brazilian of all time. And he was brought in to win Champions League glory, and that even with Mbappe by his side, that hasn't happened. So I think for the same reason as Ronaldo, as much as I'd like to put him higher, because I do rate him besides all the diving, I don't think he can be any higher.
Yeah, like it's the fact that, for example, Kane is what, like, maybe like I don't even know, what is it, like, maybe not 1/3 of how much he costs, but approaching it, like 198 million. He was very good for them, like when he wasn't injured, but almost 200 million for a player that gets injured. You don't win the Champions League. Obviously, domestic for PSG, that's sort of a given. Like, you're not paying 200 million to win the domestic league. You're paying 200 million to have a Ballon d'Or winner on your team, to have a Champions League winner on your team, to help win Champions League, and they didn't do that. So, I mean,
yeah,
there's not much you can really say about him. It's a bit sad, I'd say, him.
Because he had the potential back in the Santos days when he first popped up on the radar and got that move to Barcelona. He had I'm going to say this outright, to be the best player of all time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, obviously he's not gotten anywhere near that, but he still certainly was up there.
It's so, you know, when you think about it, he was playing in the best front three of all time. He was winning the Champions League with Barcelona. He was playing for probably the best club at the time, even though then Real Madrid obviously did the 3-peat after. But if he'd stayed and they'd sort of stayed consistent, then you never know. And also, you talk about Haaland, right? Obviously, we talk about, like, you know, maybe not the best to watch player, but Haaland's kind of been stiff for getting Norway as his country. Neymar, as a Brazilian, you've got such a good national team. You can win Copa Americas, you can win Champions Leagues with your club, you can win World Cups as well. Like, he had the platform to be the best player in the world, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing is, as well, Neymar got a lot of criticism for moving to PSG, but I agree fully with him doing so, because people are like, oh, but you would have been successful if you stayed at Barcelona. Yes, that's true, but with somebody who had the potential to be one of the best player, like the best player ever, it was at that point in his career, his prime years, where he was still in Messi's shadow. So the choice to move to be the marquee signing in the star player was really his chance to prove himself. And as much as I think he pulled the numbers and his performances were great, the injuries and the fact that he failed to win a Champions League or failed to win any proper major trophy, because, you know, winning the league with PSG every year means nothing, let's be honest.
I think it's the hindsight, isn't it? It's all hindsight, because if you look back at it, you'll say, oh, it was a bad mistake. But if he went on to win 2 Champions League with PSG, then won a World Cup like last year with, Brazil, then you'd be saying, yeah, good move, he did well. You know, it's people would arguably put him in the top 3 footballers of all time, like, if he couldn't do that. And as much as I probably wouldn't myself, I know a lot of football fans would probably try and make a case for that. But just, as was said, sadly, it didn't happen. Yeah, well, I guess what we found out this video is £100 million signings maybe don't quite always live up to the price tag, and just stay away from this category right here. No club should ever sign these guys. They just need to retire, right? Well,
is the really, you know, some of these signings that were put down below, some of the 100 million signings were back in 2017-18 when that was a lot of money. But now in the new transfer market, we do have to start getting used to 100 million signings being a normal sort of...
It's crazy. It's mad.
Yeah, I think at the moment you see a lot of 100 million plus signings being poor signings, but we're going to have to start getting to them.
Guys, before we finish the video, who do you reckon is going to be the next 100 million pound signing?
That's a tough one. Who?
That is the question. Honestly, because his release clause quite literally is £100 million, if Bruno Guimaraes does leave Newcastle in the summer, which has been...
Oh my God.
Then he's worth that money, but quite literally, leaves will be for 100 million.
Okay, what in the app am I hearing?
I think Haaland.
Yeah, yeah, but
I don't think he's leaving.
I think
yeah.
he'll go. I think he'll go in a year or two. And I think he'll go to like Barcelona, or Real Madrid. It sounds crazy to say Real Madrid, but I think he actually would go there. And I think they
will go Real Madrid.
He's leaving this summer, so for that reason, I don't think he'll be the next. And my reasoning for Bruno, before you think that's outrageous, I do not think he's worth 100 million yet. I think he's worth 80, 90 at an absolute push. But because his release clause quite literally is 100 million, it is just factual that if he leaves, he will be, possibly the million signing.
I get where you're coming from. Well,
I think Emerson Royale might be.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, then, enough said. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing us waffle and argue about this tier list. And yeah, I'd like to say bye and